Hey everybody, so we talked about Chevettes previously, engine swap Chevettes. We had a whole series because, well, we would. Now we're going to talk about Geo Metros. Why Geo Metros? Well, they're light, they're cheap. People love to swap the engines in them because if you don't, you just have a Geo Metro. So let's talk about the very first one, and that was the Metronome, which was a Geo Metro bought on Craigslist, as one does, except they took the engine, they threw it away, and they started with a Honda CBR 900 sequential shift engine.
Yeah, it had the motorcycle gearbox, but it had to be connected to the stock Geo Metro differential using a very short chain drive. Now, this is all in the front. The car's still front-wheel drive. And to seal the ends of the differential using this chain system, when they literally use the ends of rubber toilet plungers.
After multiple times, the blockage should be dislodged.
Yeah, so of course it's a motorcycle gearbox. It has almost no torque, and they're trying to drive a car with it.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the Geo Metro thus is the perfect solution when you're building a CBR 900 RR powered Lemons car.
Yeah, so now how did it work? Well, shockingly, it worked really well. In fact, they won Thunderhill, I think it was in 2008.
Yeah, they did, and maybe more than that, just the visual and the sound. Of this thing. There are few cars in Lemons that, if you close your eyes, you think, man, I'm in the middle of the Molzon Strait. This was one of them.
Yeah, and when you open your eyes, it's coming from a Geo Metro. Yeah, now the driver said driving this thing was just terrible because of all the vibration and the noise, and it was just this horrible racket, but it was super successful. So, did they just leave well enough alone and keep winning more races?
Obviously not. This is Lemons, so after a few races of the front-wheel drive setup, the team got bored and decided to move the entire drivetrain to the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Making the car mid-engine and rear drive.
Yeah, which was surprisingly straightforward. They just moved the whole Geo front suspension and drivetrain to the rear.
Yeah, and I'm sure that just bolted right up, right?
No! No! No!
There's a great article on this car's rear drive conversion by Dave Coleman of Eyesore Racing fame, posted on Moto IQ. There was all kinds of crazy custom fabrication that went into the rear drive swap. They had to cut and reposition the stock rear strut towers. They had to modify the control arms. They had to make custom adapters to get the spindle geometry right so the car wouldn't spin out every time they hit the brakes. To top it all off, they had to encase the entire engine, because it's now in the passenger seat, in a sheet metal blast shield.
Now, so reposition shock mounts, that sounds super high tech, right?
Oh yeah, they had tons of adjustability.
All right, so my notes here are saying that the springs actually came from a trailer. I don't know if we know what kind of trailer that was.
I don't know, maybe an Ultra Tow?
But it's still a super powerful CBR motored mid-engine car. It's totally awesome. And in fact, when they did this mid-engine thing, they said, oh, CBR 900, oh, that's for suckers. We're going to go get a CBR 1000 RR motor because then we're going to totally dominate. That had a couple of little things of weirdness, like the new motor was a hydraulic clutch and the old motor was a cable clutch, stuff like that.
Yeah, so to fix that problem, they already had the Geo Metro clutch cable hooked up to the cable clutch for the CBR 900. So then they just connected to the end of that cable to the stock clutch lever from the CBR 1000, which actuated the hydraulic system. Brilliant.
So it is still a chain drive, 12,000 RPM mid-engine car, which is pretty great. We asked team captain Alex Vendler to send us some notes on this build, and among the other things, this is what he said. He said, well, the differential is mounted in open air, whatever that means. He's gone $14 pillow blocks, and he does admit that the whole contraption has the engineering of the Watts Tower and the fit and finish of a swing set.
And he said the diff is in open air. Does that mean there's no more toilet plunger?
No more plunger.
Okay, well, when this car is at Pebble Beach 2050, I'm sure they'll have to get those plunger details correct.
So I am sure you all can tell by now that with this mid-engine conversion, this thing, it was totally ironed out, and it was race winning, and it just drove smooth as...
The whole rear drive conversion is not nearly as terrible as you'd think. Although the car hasn't won overall since that Thunderhill race back in 2008, there was one season it ran where it set the fastest lap for every single Lemons race it was entered in.
In fact, Alex actually sent us a clip for this. It's a 90-minute clip in car, and the car does not get passed a single time.
Now, as always the case, there's always going to be people on the internet that will doubt that you could build something like this on a Lemons budget.
Yeah, and we did an entire video recently on this channel about the Lemons Aston Martin talking about pricing, and even then people were still butthurt about it. But if you just look at the engineering and the assembly of this Geo Metro, including the $14 pillow blocks, you can see that this is a thing that can be done, and there are a lot of corners to cut, to the degree that at one of these races, when I actually looked at this conversion, they had chains and parts and it was just in free air, and they were complaining that I made them put a steel guard over the chain so it wouldn't decapitate the driver. They didn't want to spend the $4 on steel.
Yeah, these guys didn't even want to go to O'Reilly's and get automotive-grade coolant hoses because they had discovered that 200 PSI rated hoses for farm equipment was much cheaper.
So in conclusion, let me just quote Team MetroGnome founder Alex Wendler: the Geo Metro is clearly the right choice if you are serious about winning.
Amen to that. The Metronome was the first, but by far from the last, crazy engine-swapped Geo Metro in Lemons. Stay tuned for the series right here on this channel.
Thanks for watching Lemons World.
Don't forget to subscribe.